good afternoon. This might look like a bit of deja vu, and it is to a point. So as you would have seen in the previous videos, or in this previous part of this video, I went and fixed the radiator, and I showed you how I fixed it and what I did and how I did it. Anyway, I fixed the radiator and then went for a test drive, and there is a rather horrendous water leak at the back of the engine, which has now become apparent after putting proper coolant in it. So it may have washed whatever crud was in the hole, gap, whatever, and it's absolutely barreling out. But anyway, so this now, because of where it is, means the engine's got to come out, which is dropping the subframe. So right now, this is where I'm at, and it's not a flash, it's a sort of a flashback, because all the radiator section's all gone again. I'm disconnecting the fuse box, doing whatever I can in there to make that better, for easier to come out. So the drive shafts have been disconnected, the drop link and the steering arm have been all disconnected. I've got the aircon compressor hanging there, so I'm just hoping son Jonathan's coming down on Saturday and we're going to take this out together, because he's done these before and I haven't. But I think if I leave this air compressor there, then all the pipes up above here will all stay where they are and the compressor will stay, and I can drop the subframe out and not have to degas the aircon. So saying this side, drive shaft's gone, drop links disconnected, steering, and also, I'm not sure whether you can see in there, but I've also disconnected the steering column. So yeah, turned into a big job. Really big job now. So I've taken the engine mounting off there and dropped it onto the subframe, the engine onto the subframe, so that it can all drop out together. So I just have to disconnect the fuel and the electrics and that connection to the bottom of the coolant header tank, and then it should be ready to sort of come out. But we'll find out, and when I drop it out I will give you an update. So there you go. I'll send this video out right now because I'm not going to do it till Saturday, and I try and usually release something on a Thursday, which it is today. Oh dear me. I don't like negativity towards cars, but boy, this Captiva has really pushed me to the edge. It really has. I thought it all was going so well, maybe that was a sign in itself that things were not going to go too well. Everything it was just beautiful. Took it out for a test drive, did a pressure test on it before I took it out. Nothing, absolutely nothing. Took it out for a test drive for about 5 or 10 k's, pulled up outside the shed here, and water was just woofing out the bottom. So anyway, that's it, enough waffle. Subscribe, comments. Thank you very much indeed for any constructive comments, and also for liking and all that other wonderful stuff. It all makes it worthwhile. Thank you very much indeed. Oh, my Ignition 123 distributor has arrived for my MG, so my Bluetooth one. So that now will be done after this has been done. All right. Bye for now. Have a nice weekend. Good morning, crap to cream. So here we go. What turned out to be a bit of a service and look at the oil leak and it's possibly the radiator leaking has now turned into this. So, engine now out. Quite a bit of work involved in getting this out, obviously. Tried to keep the floor clean, that didn't work either, but anyway, it's all out. Now we've got to get the engine off the gearbox and then attach it to what I managed to find yesterday, which is another engine. So if anybody out there in Holden Captiva land knows what this second plug is for here, that will be of a great assistance to me. I don't know what it's for, and the other one's only got one, which is this one, so I don't know what that one's for. So this is out of a 17, this is an 11. Everything else, all the numbers all match, everything looks the same. So all the plugs plug into what they're supposed to plug into the ECU and all whatever that goes to, and all this. So it all looks right, including this one doesn't have a water leak at the back of the engine like this one does, which we believe now to be a core plug. Now I can't show you where it is because it's behind the alternator, but it's yeah, looks like a core plug is leaking in the block, which is more likely a result of the wrong coolant at some point. So now I've got to figure out, take all this gubbins off and slot the new engine, just put the new engine onto the gearbox. Oh, feeling the joy. What a way to spend the weekend. There you go. That's a really big unit. It's a big unit. It's a huge, and it's heavy too, really heavy. But anyway, that's enough. So thanks so much indeed for the comments. Thank you very much for the additional subscriptions. And if you have any comments, constructive comments, we'll go with that. I know it's a Captiva, right? And yeah, they come with their own little bits of joy. But anyway, this hopefully will be an answer to a problem, and worked out relatively cheap, because that engine was relatively cheap in comparison to what I was expecting to pay. Considering that a new oil filter cover was over 500 bucks, and I wasn't sure what the problem was. Anyway, thank you very much indeed for subscribing, for the likes and comments, love it. And yeah, I'll speak to you soon when we've done the changeover. Good afternoon. So this is Crap to Cream, and I am now talking to you maybe 3 or 4 days since I fitted the engine with Jonathan. So the everything was going really well, and I started the engine and there was no leaks. Overjoyed. Put my foot on the accelerator, very lazy. So I was like, I've been trying several different things for the last few days. So I've been playing around with cleaning the MAF sensor, things like that. I found a live in here cable that was supposed to be tied to the battery, which I've fixed now. There was also not a good earth around here somewhere. I think it was this cable in here, so I fixed that. Took it out for a test drive, and it was yeah, very lazy. So I had a bit of a chat to Jonathan about what this could be, and he suggested the MAF sensor could be faulty. Now when I got this engine, because this is a 2017 engine in a 2011 car, and I knew there'd be some differences, so I thought the only difference right now would have been the plug on the sump, because there's 2 on this one and there's 1 on the original engine, and I think I showed you that maybe earlier on. Anyway, so anyway, as it turned out, right, I put the box top of the old air filter on, and then rewired the old MAF sensor with the old box into the new wiring of the 2017 engine, and I've just taken it out for a run, and oh my lord, what a difference. Can't believe it. It's like chalk and cheese. It now goes better than it did before. So I'm absolutely amazed. I'm amazed that the MAF sensor made that much difference. I was ready to be changing out throttle bodies and pedal position sensors and all that sort of stuff. I didn't really consider the MAF sensor to be the issue, and a lesson learnt for me, and thank you very much indeed, Jonathan. Right, MAF sensor, if the engine's very, very lazy, won't go, well, we'll go with a lot of persuasion. Then MAF sensor, I cleaned the other one and put it all on and did everything I should have done, and yeah, got me fair beat, that one. So instead of going to the wreckers, it is now back on the road again, and I can now carry on with my MG stuff. Alright, so that's just a sign off. I'm going to put a couple of videos afterwards of Jonathan and I changing out the engine. He came down to give me a hand, and very grateful to him for that. I was more of the apprentice. But if I hadn't had the hoist, the car would have been going to the wreckers, because you had to drop the engine on the subframe off underneath. So there you go. One more car saved from the wreckers. Anyway, that's enough for now. Have a nice weekend, and yeah, I'll be in touch. Bye for now. So you say you tighten that other one up on the right hand side at the top?
I've tightened up that one. Yeah, I've tightened up. I put one bolt in and done it up tight. That one there.
So and that, I put this one in, and you tighten that one up.
I've tightened that one up. Well, I can put them in.
What are you tightening up now?
We're reattaching the engine to the gearbox.
Okay. James wants to know what's going to happen with the radiator.
Who?
James.
What's going to happen with the radiator?
Yeah. Don't look so shocked.
That is the least of our problems right now.
That's off.
Right. Oh, now it's, yeah.
Some sort of dowel.
Yeah, it's really separated now.
Good one. I need that carbon back again.
Yeah, there you go. So it's... Hang on.
Mine's just got to go up.
Oh, hang on. There's... Oh no, that's...
Okay. So,
See, it's something down this corner.
where what?
There's something... Maybe that's... We've probably got the screwdriver there. Oh, you need a bigger tilt.
Oh, hold on. Push the torque converter back in.
Hey?
Push the torque converter back in. The torque converter's trying to come out with the motor. There you go.
Hang on. Okay, pull again. Twist and do a bit of rocky pulley stuff.
It's because of this bloody
Okay.
I'm
Pull.
hitting over here on the transaxle. This must be a motor where you got to pull the transaxle apart to get the motor out. So right there. See that transaxle on an angle?
Yeah.
So this transaxle